everybody. Welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Your host, Frank Holder here. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. Let me bring in my man Talent in the building. One of the comedians who does everywhere, all the time, as everything. My man T with the new shirt on, with the super
the new joint, baby. Look at the new joint, B. You know what I mean? We out here, baby. It's just comedy, Superman joint.
Just man, like I said, you always knew. Always got something new on, bro. Always something
new. We got to keep the people on the street fresh.
I'm trying to tell you, my man Fig is also in the building. What's up, Figlicious? How you doing, sir?
Man, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
There it is. We got a lot to talk about, man. And
first things first, Frank. I won a lot of money.
Oh, you did?
All right, go ahead.
You can't just leave it there.
And my favorite people right now are the Colts. You know what I mean? The Giants, I'm very happy with. And, of course, my team I've been telling you about, the sleeper, the Vikings. I love these guys.
My man Mike Sean's also joined us. Mike, what's up, man? It's been a minute. How you doing?
What's really good?
All right, so let's jump into the stories, man. The breaking news just happened just now. The police have in custody a former University of Virginia student who fatally shot 3 football players, University of Virginia football players, on Sunday as they were on a field trip coming back from a play in Washington, D.C. This guy hasn't been a football. He became a football player, but he never played a football game, actual football game for the team. But he's a former football player. He hasn't been listed on the team since 2018. The team's coming back from a play in D.C., and I don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened, but he shot and killed 3 active football players in the University of Virginia. He did it last night. Crazy story, man. I think it has a lot to do with CTE. You know what I mean? When you get upset, it has a lot to do with it, but I'm just speculating. What's your thoughts when you hear this, man, T? You know, a black man kills 3 other black men in this type of situation.
Man, this is devastating. And it's you know what's crazy is we got all our energy, especially in the climate of the last few years, towards certain areas of trying to stop the black on black killing. You know what I mean? And this is one of those blind spots, right? Mm-hmm. I'm looking over here. I'm talking to the streets of Chicago, the streets of Baltimore, blah, 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 blah. And I'm doing all that, focus on streets and places that most likely it happens. And then this happens over here, you know, football players, like brothers just go take the gun and kill 3. This is devastating, and it's coming from a blind spot. And I'm flabbergasted, bro. I didn't even hear the story till you just mentioned it. And my condolences out, you know, to the loved ones that's going to be suffering this, because these are kids.
Yeah,
these are pretty much.
It's breaking news, T. It's happening right now on CNN and everything else. So I'm not surprised you hear it. It's news just broke. Fig. We always talk about black power, black pride, and everything else. This got to take a blow to a person like you, such as yourself, who always speaks on black man's strength. When you hear about one black man killing 3 other black men, bro, this is sad. Talk to me.
Yeah, it is. My condolences go out to the families of, you know, those who have lost their loved ones and stuff like that. Like Talent said, they're, you know, they're basically, you know, children, they're kids. You know, these are young men in the prime of their life, and to lose them like that over something like this is just sad. I you know, even though people are sometimes suffering mentally from whatever condition or from whatever, you always wonder what initiated, you know, this type of behavior, like what happened prior to this happening, and could it have been avoided? The one thing that I know from being in sports and playing a little bit of football in my day is that there's a lot of hazing and stuff that goes on. And the first thing that came to my mind is when you said that he hadn't played for a while. I wonder if it was some kind of hazing that precipitated, you know, this type of behavior from him. Was it some kind of verbal bullying or hazing or something that you know that happened prior? But either way, nothing justifies the end result of murdering, you know, young people for whatever reason. It's just a sad situation.
Right, we have no idea what happened, but Fig, we did touch on something. It could have been a hazing incident. It could have been a lot of things. But I will say this, Mike: when a person has undiagnosed CTE, when they get angry, they get really angry. They do something that we don't expect. Maybe I'm just speculating here. Maybe his anger took it to another level, which made him decide that he wanted to do something hurt 3 other men. I don't know. But Mike, when you hear about this, what's your thoughts?
I'm not going to speculate at all. I'm not putting any speculation out on this. What I will say is down south, it's easier to get a gun than it is to get a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Like I there was a gun shop around the corner from my apartment in Texas. All I had to do was give a driver's license. There was no background check. There was nothing. I could walk right in there, but I knew I was not responsible enough to have a gun. Like that's not just not something that I need to have in my possession. But speculation, I don't know. I have no idea what happened, how it happened. It's horrible. It's tragic. I'm sure we'll get 6,000 stories on what happened. We'll get 6,000 different stories. We'll start getting social media stories, and then maybe ESPN or Fox FS1 will break some news on it. It's sad, but it's so easy to get a gun. Yeah. It is so easy to get a gun now in down south that it's scary.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it moving. I want to talk about the UFC upset over the weekend. We got to touch on that before we jump into the football, man. There was a huge upset Saturday night where Alex Pereira beat Israel Adesanya, and no one saw that coming. And the 5th round knockout for the UFC middleweight title happened on Saturday night. I got to be honest with you, Steve. I thought the fight it literally felt like a Tyson fight to me, where it's one of those fights where you're like, yeah, I'm not even going to watch it. I'm not wasting my time because, it's not. I really felt like that, man. But it was the upset for a while, man. Talk to me about it.
No, you're absolutely right. It was a Tyson fight, and that was Buster Douglas. That's what that reminded me of, because everybody is you half-ass looking at it. You chalked up the win before it happened. People's reputation preceded them. All the usual suspects that cause an upset, that go into the ingredients of a potluck bowl of upset. Same thing happened with Buster. I seen an interview with Buster Douglas, and he actually, it cost him more for winning the fight than it would if he would have lost, because in the long run, it was his last fight under contract with Don King. That's what this fight reminded me of. And he ended up winning. Nobody had him winning. He ended up winning, and he's off from Don King. He don't need Don King no more. So Don King sued the hell out of him. That's why we never seen a part 2. That's why we never seen a rematch. That's what this fight is, except I think you're going to see a rematch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a rematch, too. I 100% think you're going to see a rematch with this. Fig, I'm not a big UFC fan. I don't understand a lot in the game except, fight and destroy and everything else. But I do know one thing. An upset is an upset is an upset. What's your take when the upset happened Saturday night when you heard about this, man? And what was your thoughts on this whole thing? What's your thoughts?
Well, look, the one thing that you said, Frank, that just stuck out to me is that, nobody really saw it coming, especially Israel. He didn't see it coming either, and that's why he lost.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, man. The one thing that I know about the fight game is, man, if you don't prepare for your opponent or you overlook your opponent, I don't care how big, how small, whatever, how insignificant you think they are, you can lose. In football, they say any given Sunday. You step in that ring, that octagon, or whatever they call it, the UFC, or any kind of pugilistic sport where it's mano y mano, and you overlook your opponent, you can get your ass severely whipped.
Yeah.
And that's the fact.
100%. Mike, you are the boxing pro on this panel and everything else. Talk to me, man. Tell me what your thoughts were from the UFC game.
Fight. Shout out to my man, Sean Funny, comedian. He's a UFC junkie. Mm-hmm. I'm not a UFC junkie who told me to watch this fight. The reason why this is not an upset is the guy had beaten this man before.
Oh, okay.
This is the second time he beat him. He's his kryptonite. He didn't overlook him. It's just a bad matchup for him. Like styles make fights. Yeah. Shout out to my man Sean Funny, who said, Mike, spend the money and pay for the fight. And I didn't. I didn't pay for the fight. I was like, I'm not paying for this fight. I'm not a huge UFC fan, but some UFC fighters I do want to watch. Like he's one of them. Obviously, Conor McGregor was one of them, and Jones is it John Jones? I think it's John Jones, whatever. He's another one that I'll pay money for. But I was going to pay money for the fight, and I hate when I miss something like this. Like it kills me. Well, I was like, Sean Funny was. This dude FaceTime me. No dudes ever FaceTime me. No dudes ever FaceTime me. It's a rule. You better be in severe trouble to FaceTime me. He was like, my dude, tell me you paid the money. I said, I didn't pay the money. And he told me what happened. I was like, yo, I can't believe it. But he was right on point. He predicted. He said, yo, this guy he has a style that this dude does not have. He doesn't know how to cope with. And he was right. That's not me. I know nothing. I know nothing when it comes to the UFC. All I know is I should have spent the money, damn it.
All right, so now, speaking of spending the money and making sure you don't miss nothing, we got to talk about the game of the weekend. Might be the game of the year. I watched the game, and I ain't gonna lie, I was bored first half of the game until the game ended up starting to pick up, whereas the Bills were placing the Vikings. The Bills was up. Now, if you guys weren't watching the game, the Bills was up 27-10, and the Vikings stormed back, and everybody all year. I watched it live as it was happening. But to me, before I even throw it to UT, when Josh Allen fumbled the ball in the end zone, I'm not even a Bills fan. I think I screamed. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen, well, I haven't seen that in years, whereas the most confident quarterback would fumble the ball in the end zone. T, talk to me, dog. Talk to me. Tell me what you thought about
that. First of all, I want to say to Mike Sean, you missed out on two things, man. You were supposed to send me money for the bets, and you'd have been a part of this nice little 3K winning. But he missed out on that because he never sent the money. So this was, like I said, one of the premier teams I was waiting to see just really cover. You know, they were giving the Vikings 7 points. So I was just wanting them to cover, but, you know, I'm New York, so I was like, if I could have my cake and eat it too, Bills will win, but they just won't cover, and I'll still win. Everybody's happy, right? I'm watching this game, Frank. You ain't never lied. A game that went from semi-boring to okay at the half to this is getting interesting to really good to hilarious. I'm not going to lie. I started laughing right before that, the play you talking about, Frank, the other, you know, where it looked like it was over before that, like, oh, they're about to storm that, and it never happened, so they take over. I'm like, oh, it's over. And when he dropped that ball, dude, I just started laughing because everybody who was watching this game just had it over. The Bills, after they stopped them, they ran to the side, 41 or 42 seconds. They run to the side. They standing on bleachers and benches, waving their helmets to the crowd. And he dropped that snap.
Yes, sir.
At the end zone, dog. Yeah. I started laughing. I gotta laugh now because the money's in the bag for me, right? There's absolutely like a less than a 1% chance that anything could happen to mess with my money. So now it's funny. Now they go down, they try to do this, and then they get the field goal, and then they go down. I said, yo, this is the crazy. But that's got to be the best game we've seen thus far. Game of the year. But I'm happy. In the long run, the Bills lose. Guess who's in the division with the Bills?
The
Jets.
Yeah, let's not forget about guess who jumps 2 slots. It's the Jets. Rodney Perry has joined the show.
Rodney.
How you doing? And guess who made the playoffs with that loss? The Patriots made the playoffs with that loss. That's the two. I was pretty happy with that. I didn't see that coming either. My man,
they'll be out in the first round. Don't worry about that.
I'm just happy they made the playoffs because
wild card. They'll be out in the wild card round. Don't worry about it. They ain't gonna stay long.
I'm paying attention to that. He said they ain't gonna make the playoffs. They're in the playoffs right now.
Just pack a day bag. Don't worry about it. You ain't gotta pack too much underwear or nothing like that. You're good.
Great, talk to me, man. What was your thoughts when you watching the game? I know you was watching the game, and they stormed down, and Kirk Cousins literally has them down. 4th down play, 50 seconds left. 4th and 1, 4th and inches. He doesn't get it. Were you like me sitting there saying, "Okay, this game's over"? Like, do you think that game was over? Or what was your
Oh yeah, I thought the game was over at that point, man. But there was still time left on the clock. Let me say this. Not only did Mike miss the bet because he didn't send Talent any money, when Talent was telling Mike that he missed the bet because he didn't send him any money, Mike wasn't even on the screen. Mike didn't even get the message.
I don't remember.
He got up and left, so he didn't even hear what Talent said. Not only did he not make the money, he
Missed
didn't
out,
get the
missed
message.
out on his money, Mike.
He missed out on everything. Yo, man, listen, I thought it was over, but the one thing that I kept in mind is that these guys are on the 1 yard line. You can't take a knee, you know what I mean? Because you take a knee in the end zone.
right?
Maybe that would have been the thing to do because some, I was like, yo, if you take a knee in the end zone, it's only 2 points. You get a free kick, and then these guys are not going to come down and score. But no. They outsmarted themselves. They tried to run. He fumbled he fumbled the height, and the other team recovered in the end zone. Go figure. But you know what I did say? I don't know if you remember last week. I said, are we underestimating the Vikings because they were 7-1? Now they're 8-1.
Listen, nobody's been talking about the Vikings all year long. So
exactly.
I gotta say this, Mike. The Vikings now made it official. They are one of the 2 best teams in the league, whether you want to agree with it or not. Their record shows now they're going and beating people who they're not supposed to win. But Mike, what was your take on, as you see, the Vikings end up coming with Kirk Cousins, no less, in Buffalo, beating Buffalo, which had to be the game of the year. What's your take?
That's what we're gonna stop doing. We're gonna put some respect on Kirk Cousins' name.
Yep.
That's what we're gonna do. All that with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has now won 8 games that were one possession games.
Yes.
That means he is showing up in the clutch. Even when Dalvin Cook dropped the touchdown pass that would have ended everything.
Yes.
That was the easy. Now Dalvin Cook made up for it. If you want to mess up, if you ever want to make up for it, look at the Dalvin Cook video of what he did the rest of the game against the Buffalo Bills and what the show he put on. I want to say I can't think of a regular season game that was better than this. I can think of playoff games like when Houston lost that big lead against the Bills and the historical game against the San Diego Chargers and Miami Dolphins when the San Diego Chargers were blowing the Dolphins out and they brought the backup quarterback in and they came all the way back and they did all that. I don't remember a regular season game. I was rooting for the Vikings, but I'm not a Viking fan. So I'm not invested. So like Talon said, I was giggling out of all this. I didn't think the game was over because I said, if they take a safety, there's 40 seconds left. All they need is a field goal. Right. So they couldn't take a safety. All he had to do was get the get the snap. But then Josh Allen, as great as he is getting a reputation of making huge mistakes at the wrong time. And he's making mistakes that you can't even explain. That pass he threw at the end of the game for an interception, that was so irresponsible on that pass he threw, especially when a receiver cut in front of that receiver who was wide open. But you were so locked in on who you were going to throw it to, you didn't even notice the receiver cut right in front of your vision, and you let him go, and you forced the pass that didn't have a shot. I just want to say there was the fact that there was so many ups and downs, like Talon said, everybody thought they won the game like 4 times. But I want y'all to look at that pass that he threw to Justin Jefferson that was at the 2-yard line. That pass, he threw it in his chest. It was so perfect. It was ridiculous. We got to start giving Kirk Cousins some love on this, man.
Kirk Cousins had the pass of the year with that Justin Jefferson pass.
And the catch, and the Justin Jefferson catch, I got to tell you, I'm an Odell Beckham fan. I'm a Giant fan. And they were trying to compare the catches. Listen, nobody was trying to take the ball out of Odell's hand.
Right.
This guy grabbed it with one hand, brought it down, took it out the receiver's hand. Somehow, some way, the ball didn't hit the ground. I don't know how the ball didn't hit the ground and brought it in. That is the most amazing catch. And I'm an Odell Beckham. I'm a Giant fan. But that is an amazing catch. Odell's catch was in the first quarter of a game that they lost. This guy was on a 4th and 18. That doesn't make any damn sense. That's an instant classic.
easily the catch of the year, might be the catch of the season, might be the catch of the decade. It was one of them catches. Rodney Perry's joined the show. The show's called Box Seats, ladies and gentlemen, where we talk about sports with comedians. My man Rodney Perry is also in the building. Rodney Perry, you got to give me your thoughts on the Vikings versus the Bills, which had to be the game of the year. What's your thoughts?
I mean, let's not jump to conclusions, man. A great game, but
conclusions.
Calm down, guys. A game with no defense is the game of the year, really?
Yeah, that's normally the game of the year. You name me a game of the year that had defense.
Mike Sean, we're not gonna do this. So
you're not gonna be ridiculous today and get away with it. I'm in the mood today.
First of all, Mike Sean,
you being ridiculous.
You got to the whole thing with drop balls, and I'm a man of a certain age. I'm 52 years old, man, and I gotta admit my balls ain't what they used to be.
How did we get to your ball?
But let's not get into that. How about this, guys? I said this in Buffalo, New York. I was at the comedy club in Buffalo, New York, and I said, "Hey guys, guess what? Your team is piles of doo-doo." Nobody wanted to hear Rodney Perry. No, the Buffalo Bills is great, but they always manage to become who they are. The Buffalo Bills will let you down. They're just like the Cleveland Browns. They will let you down. It's no accident. They've been to 15 Super Bowls and ain't won once. Kirk Cousins still ain't good. It's the Buffalo Bills. Kirk Cousins is mediocre at best. And the Buffalo Bills still find a way to make him look like a great quarterback.
What the hell is Rodney Perry talking about?
Was it a great game? It was wonderful. I enjoyed it. But I'm not impressed. It's better teams out there. If you watch two horrible teams play a great game, is that a great game? No.
What are you talking about?
I said it.
Buffalo was favored to go to the Super Bowl.
They're not. Even if they go, they're going to lose.
Unbelievable.
They're going to lose.
We're going to come back to Rodney Perry. My man Maurice Smith is in the building. I'm getting ready to bring him in for a sit your ass down segment since we didn't have it on Friday. But before we get to that, because Mo's in the background, I got to bring up Rodney Perry because, I got to bring up talent, Harris, because talent. There's one other game I want to talk to all y'all about before we bring in Mo. What the hell is going on with the Raiders, T? How in the world do the Raiders lose to an ESPN analyst? I just want to know. I want to know how do the Raiders? If you're the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And the Colts hire an ESPN analyst, how in the world is this man still? How's he still?
He's a football player. Goodness gracious.
He never coasted his life.
First of all, I'm over here cracking up because Rodney gonna mention his balls and then say we're not gonna get into that. We didn't want it. He gonna put it out there and take it off the table.
For the record, my balls are still on the table. My balls are still on the table.
So here's the thing. Thank you, Colts, because again, I hit 3 different tickets for $3,000. That was the ticket that I was waiting the very last. Oh my God, I can't believe I hit 3 times because the Colts were getting 4 points and they were keeping that game close. And defense, Rodney's right though, man. Defense. If people don't have defense, this is how this happens. The Raiders are part-time players. They got 2 wins, Frank. They are part-time players. If you watch the Raider games, it's not that they're not in these games. I think they got shut out one time. Other than that, they're in these games, but then they just clock out. You know, something happens, and it's either or with the Raiders too. Notice this. Some games the offense clocks out, and in some games the defense clocks out early. In this case, for them to come down the end of that game, catch up, and surpass, that was two different runs. I blame the last minute defense. I think they just was out of gas and clocked out.
All right, well, Fig, I've been saying for 3 weeks, fire Josh McDaniels, and y'all know I've been saying this, right? I've been saying fire Josh McDaniels for 3 weeks. I'm gonna ask you, Fig. Do you think they fired Josh McDaniels yet, or you think they say, you know what, let's tank and let's see where we at, and he gets the rest of the year? Where you at with Josh McDaniels?
What?
Man, I couldn't tell you, man. It's crazy, man. Coaching matters. You know what I mean? Coaches could put exceptional athletes in a position to be at their best, and that's what a lot of coaches don't do. You see in Baltimore how they doing with that young man over there. That's absolutely amazing. They built a culture around their quarterback, and some coaches just won't do that. Some coaches are stuck with their system. Let me tell you what Jeff Saturday did. He went in that locker room and said, on any given Sunday, he put that quarterback back in there where he was supposed to be, and he had a conversation with the offensive line, a position that he played for a lot of years. And he told him, he said, look, let's get back to the basics. Let's just play football. This is what we're going to do. And the coach showed up, man. I'm telling you, players respond to motivation and good coaching, man. They got some decent players over there. Now, a coach ain't nothing without talent. Talent, you hear what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Coaches ain't nothing without talent. But if you got talent, coaches matter.
All right, Mike Sean, I'm going to ask you this. How in the hell does a team get Devontae Adams and get worse? I just want somebody to explain that to me. And then lose to an ESPN analyst who ain't even in the seat 7 days. He barely got in the seat 7 days, and he comes in and leads the team to beat you, and you still got your job. Explain that to me. I got to figure that part out.
Well, this is what the Raiders deserve. They deserve all this smoke. They deserve it all for replacing a coach who took you to the playoffs last year with less talent than the team has right now. And you brought in Josh McDaniels, who failed at his last head coaching job and paid him a gang of money. And now you can't fire him because you're on the hook for like 3 years on paying him. If Frank Reich can get fired mid-season and he had a winning record and he had taken the Colts to playoff appearances, this is what y'all get. Y'all had y'all coach, but it wasn't good enough. Y'all needed the fancy name, the guy who works with Belichick. If I hear another person, hey, he worked under Belichick. Yeah, so do Joe Judd. He worked under Bill Belichick too. Guess who he's not? He's not Bill Belichick.
Hey, Mike, Bill Belichick's wife works under him too, but she ain't coaching.
She ain't coaching. She ain't good. This is so embarrassing, but this is what you get when you always think the grass is greener with this guy over there, when this guy has proven his point with this team. The team rallied behind him. The team rallied behind him when the receiver got into a car accident and killed somebody and went to jail. The team rallied behind him when their head coach was sending emails and got busted for saying all types of racist slurs and sexist statements. He was able to hold that team together and have them excel. And that wasn't good enough for you. This is what you get. The person I feel sorry for is Derek Carr. If I was Derek Carr, I'd be like, get me out of here now. Get me out of here now because you're wasting more years of my life with this. And don't tell me what you're going to do with your draft picks. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me what you're going to do with your draft picks because it don't matter because this coach ain't going to be able to do anything with them.
I like how you bring your personal life into the past relationships. You think his grass is greener on the other side of that guy.
Yeah, because she was in shape. That's what I deserve because she was in shape and she was working out. And I thought the grass was greener because my girl got a little chubby. And then that's what happens.
Rodney Perry, the coach comes in. The guy comes in, no coaching experience. The only coach he ever coached was high school. He no coach in college level, no coach on pro level, no line coach, no assistant coach. He comes in, he's an ESPN analyst. He comes in and he beats a guy who had coaching experience, been an offensive coordinator for the Patriots for about good 10 years, honestly. Good 10 years. He got all his experience. He was highly heralded and everything else. And you got Devontae Adams. He got Darren. He got everything. And he loses to an ESPN analyst. I can't stop saying that, Rodney Perry. What's your take?
You keep throwing it out there.
Hall of Famer and future Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Hey, let's look at it like this, guys. I was once in Amsterdam, man, and
Just don't bring up your balls.
I met a young lady from Suriname, which is in South America.
Yes.
And I had confidence in her.
Uh-huh.
And she told me, she said, I've never done this before. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I believe in you.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, how do I put this?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
how do you? Because what's this got to do with the Colts upset the Raiders?
Stay with me, Frank. I'm bringing this all the way home.
Okay, all right.
Young lady, Amsterdam. She said she'd never done it before. How about this? She was outstanding.
Uh-huh.
She was out freaking standing. As I search my mind right now, I gotta shudder.
Well, that's because she lied to you.
First of all, Mike Sean, it's not your turn. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not Mike Sean's turn. Go ahead, Rodney. You got the floor. Go ahead.
Football is one of those sports, and I think Fig said it best. Sometimes guys need motivation. And the owner is a character guy.
Yeah.
It don't have nothing to do with the X's and O's. He could have got a better X's and O's guy. But he's looking for character, right? Character matters in the NFL. Like, it's people been fired for lack of character.
Yeah.
And so they got this guy. He's a character guy. Everybody likes him. And you got to respect him. And just like in Amsterdam, things kind of work out.
Hey, fellas, hold up. Frank, I gotta say this for you guys. I got TMZ. I have breaking news. This is hilarious, so get ready, y'all. TMZ is reporting that Scottie Pittman's ex-wife is now dating Michael
Kanye.
Jordan's son.
That's not old. That's old news.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's
Oh
all.
my God.
And speaking of sit your ass down, my man Maurice Smith, we talking about sit your ass down situation with the Colts and the Raiders. Maurice Smith, you got good 2 minutes, Mo. Holler at me.
All right, yo, check this out. I'm gonna do a rapid fire because I know I got a little bit of time. What's up, guys? First
Take your time, Mo.
what's up? Sean Marks of the Brooklyn Nets, sit your ass down. All the stuff they got for Kyrie Irving to get back into the league, I'm surprised he didn't put at the end of it. He got to change his name to Toby, too. Dak Prescott, sit your ass down. How you gonna let the second string quarterback get more wins than you? You suspect, son. You suspect. Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills, sit your ass down. This supposed to be your year. This supposed to be your MVP, your Super Bowl year. And you over there last 3 games turn over more balls than they turn over burgers at McDonald's. Sit your ass down. Tiger Woods. Yeah, I gotta go to Tiger. Yeah, Tiger Woods said, sit your ass down. He said he's gonna join the Hero Golf Tournament. With your bad back, are you serious, Tiger? Sit your ass down. You've won 2 tournaments out of the last 26 since 2018, Tiger. If you're short on a little cash, won't you get a sneaker deal? I heard they just got an opening over at Adidas. Sit your ass down.
And Nike.
Derek Carr of the Las Vegas Raiders, sit your ass down. Did y'all see Derek Carr crying over practice? Wait. I gotta do my Allison Ivan voice. Practice? You cried over practice? Are you serious? Not a game. Practice. He's supposed to be the franchise player of the team, and you cry over practice? How silly is that? Sit your ass down. And last but not least, Jim Irsay of the Colts, the owner, you got lucky because y'all played the Raiders. Sit your ass down. I'm mad because the black coach didn't get it. With the inexperience he got on that coaching staff, when they go up against a more experienced NFL team, when the calls come through the headpiece, it's going to sound like the conductor on the old subway. And that's the last segment, and that's your segment of sit your ass down.
That's Mo.
Yeah.
Bro, we'll see you Friday. Don't go nowhere, bro. Hang in there. We're going to throw you in there. We're going to keep this thing rolling. T, you know about the 49ers defeating the Chargers. The 49ers look like, they look like they put it together. I know my man Toure got to be happy because they putting it together. You know, they're getting back.
Nobody cares about Toure.
That's true. That's true. But the 49ers are getting it together.
What is wrong?
They get it together. Toure got to be happy right now. People aren't injured. No more people come back from injuries, man. The 49ers winning, man. What's your take on this, Steve?
You guys are very disrespectful. He said nobody cared about Toure. Frank said, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, why you co-sign, Frank? What Toure do to you?
Toure talking was trash.
That was hilarious.
I love Toure.
Listen, this was another game, man, at the end, they came at the end and took that victory, right from under them. Look, they won me money, Frank. I got nothing but good things to say. Now, here's the thing, though. We got to keep in mind, they had a lot of players come back. They had about 3 top players that were out injured. I think Debo came back.
Yeah.
So they had about 3 players come back at the same time, and you've seen the difference. Because, you forget they got a dope defense. They top defense, but with the injuries, they just look like any old team week to week. They win, they lose, they win, they lose. I think they're back, right?
Yeah, I think they're back too. Frank, you got to talk to me about what your take right now on obviously 49ers coming back and how you think they look.
Man, I've been telling y'all that Jimmy G is that dude for the longest. I didn't understand all this vitriol that they had about Jimmy G not being this, not being that. I'm like, Jimmy G is that dude when he's healthy. Jimmy G is top 10 quarterback in the NFL. All that kid does is win.
Right.
I don't understand what these people are saying about Jimmy G. Like they don't want to pay him. You trying to trade him to another team. Let me tell you, they are so glad. San Francisco is so glad that they got Jimmy G right now that they probably don't know what to do. That boy is official. If Jimmy G don't get injured this year, they are definitely going to do something spectacular. Make some noise because they that good over there.
I want to start keeping this moving a little bit faster, so I'm going to jump ahead. I got to talk about the Packers defeating the Cowboys with you, Mike. The Packers ended up defeating the Cowboys, and the Cowboys was winning by 14 games. And they in Green Bay, they were up 28-14, and they literally allowed them to come back and win. Talk to me, what you think.
As usual, Cowboys, as usual.
Yeah.
The most overhyped team in the NFL for the last 15 years. It just goes on and on and on. The announcers would sit there and tell you they have an amazing defensive front. Then the Packers run for 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody retracts the statement. They just keep going. Yeah, Micah Parsons is the Lawrence Taylor of this generation. Really?
Mm-hmm.
It really, DeMarcus Lawrence, yeah, they got a super pass rush, but who needs to pass the ball?
Right.
Just run. The Packers knew that the Cowboys couldn't stop the run to the point where they were down by 14, and they were still running the ball. There was a point in the game in the third quarter that Aaron Rodgers had only thrown the ball 10 times.
Yeah.
10 times. Dog, it is what it is. And Dak Prescott, I really root for him because I know he's been through a lot in his life between the tragedy of his mom and his brother. So I root for him. I'm glad he got his money.
Yeah.
But homie, the suspect situation going on, like my man said, this is starting to add up. Things are starting to add up. 14 points you gave the Green Bay Packers. 14 points you gave the Green Bay Packers. This is the first that they said it during the broadcast. This is the first team in Dallas Cowboy history that has ever had a 14-point lead and blown it. In history. So I love it. It was my perfect Sunday. It was the perfect Sunday. Giants win, Cowboys lose. If the Eagles could possibly lose tonight, which would take damn near a miracle, that would really put the icing on the cake.
But anything can happen, bro. It's a Monday night. Anything can happen. You know what I mean? The nighttime games always bring out the lights with a lot of people. Rodney Perry, the Bucs ended up beating the Seahawks, and I didn't see that one coming either. Geno Smith didn't make it a game of it. You know what I mean? The game was played in Germany. Tom Brady ended up getting these boys coming, playing good and everything else. What's your take on the Bucs staying alive? Their season staying alive. What's your take on this?
I mean, just don't bet against Tom Brady, man. I mean, I think haven't we learned our lesson over the years, man? Tom Brady and the Bucs versus, the Seahawks. I mean, they're having a great season. Geno Smith is having a breakout year. Hopefully that makes him valuable moving forward. But he's still black. So I think they'll find a way to make Geno Smith useless and paint Tom Brady as the GOAT as always. So I just want to see Geno continue to play good the rest of the season, man, so he can get his weight up. Because I don't even think that the Seahawks are all in on him right now. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I got to tell you right now, I think that man's going to get what do they call it? Comeback player of the year. I think Geno Smith definitely going to get comeback player of the year.
Right, but they never get that dude no money. Whoever get that little, go ahead.
We'll talk about that. We'll get to that. He might not. Mo, talk. The Giants win, Mo. The Giants.
Yo,
they beat the Texans. Giants. What's the Giants record right now? What are they at
Giants is 7-2 right now. We only got one loss in our division. You know, the Giants are doing good things, but I ain't gonna get too hyped up. And I'm a big Giants fan. All right, we just beat Texas. You know, that beating Texas is like them playing us. You know what I'm saying? Right now, for real. I mean, the Giants are legit though, but they just got some things missing. You know, we got to get better in our defense. You know, we got to get some wide receivers. We paid a whole lot of money for somebody who dropped 2 passes yesterday. I mean, Kenny Golladay dropped balls more than Rodney dropped his balls. I'm just saying. So
my balls just stay low; they don't get dropped.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Ball drop. I got to talk.
Frank act like his balls is up close. These balls is low too.
I never said nothing. I never said nothing about the height of my balls. I never said it.
No, unless you mentioned to Ray, he ain't co-signing nothing.
Wow. T, we got moving on, man. I got to talk about Joel Embiid. Had the game of his career, man. He put up like 50-something points.
Yeah, how about that, talent?
Talent, your voice is on. Your thing is on mute. Talk to me about Embiid. People right now are saying maybe this might be his year. He's put it together right now for the Sixers. Even though James Harden didn't play, he did have the career game. What's your take on him doing what he did, man? What's your take on that, team?
Finally. The team is still underperforming. You know, as an individual stat, this is a heroic game because this brother had. Whenever you fill up, people expect you to fill up 1 or 2 boxes. When you fill up 4 boxes, you're doing something. 5 blocks, the assists, the rebounds, and 50+ points. Like it's a phenomenal game for Embiid. Yeah. But again, your team is in disarray. So are we going to see this on a consistent level? Is this what Embiid's going to? Is he saying he's going all out now? He's going to show us the full arsenal, or is the next game going to drop back down to 20 and an L and 9 rebounds or whatever the case may be? He should be. This is what I said from day one when you guys were loving Embiid. He just didn't work hard enough for me to be a big guy, a big, strong, dominant force that people thought he was. To me, he just lackadaisically played the game. So can you imagine if he applies himself and give you all those minutes like he did on both sides of the ball? You know what I mean? Offense and defense. It was miraculous. Probably won't see that.
I definitely say that. Fig, Embiid had 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 blocks, and here's the key stat. He did it all in 36 minutes. Never happened before NBA history. He made NBA history with that, especially in that short period of time. He had the game of his career. Hell, he brought himself into the NBA Hall of Fame just with those stats alone for that game. What's your take on Embiid's game?
Hey man, that game was sponsored by Viagra and Red Bull because he had a lot of energy. he was doing the damn thing. But listen, it's like Talon said, man. If I don't, that was amazing for one game. If I don't see this consistently, I'm like, yeah, it's like whatever. I need to see this consistently. This kid here has the ability to be able to do something very similar to that every single game. Because if you just think about across the NBA, who can stop Joel Embiid when he decides to, exert himself physically or physically decide to dominate a game? Who can stop Joel Embiid? There's nobody in the NBA that's even anywhere near him. Not only can he dominate in the paint, he has a nice little shot too. And if you foul him and put him on the foul line, he knocks him down. He can do close to this down there every night if he applies himself.
You think so? You can do that every? Okay, all right.
Not exactly. I said close to it. Like I think Joel Embiid is good for 35 and 10 every single night if he applies himself.
Okay. What's your take on Joel Embiid's performance last night, Mike?
No, I'm not. I hate the Sixers. Joel Embiid, for people to say he needs to apply himself, he's been in an MVP race the last 3 seasons. He can't help that the rest of the Sixer team is a mess. He can't help that he can't rely on James Harden anymore. I mean, this guy has averaged 2022, he's averaging 32 points. 2021, he averaged 30 points. 2020, he averaged 28 points. Those years, he averaged 10, 11, 10 rebounds. He was averaging 4 assists a game. I don't know what else you want from the center. I feel like we're talking about him the way the media would talk about Patrick Ewing when they would kill him for taking 15-foot jump shots and be like, oh, he shouldn't be taking 15-foot jump shots. Patrick Ewing's not a champion. You can't win a championship. I remember the Daily News and the New York Post killing Patrick Ewing. And I was thinking, like, what do y'all want? The guy's an all-star every year. He's on a team that has no Hall of Famers, that has no all-stars. And basically, James Harden's going to be a Hall of Famer based on what he used to be. But right now, Joel Embiid is playing with Maxey as a second-best player. I don't know what you want him to do with that.
Which is sad all by itself. That's a great statement. Sad all by itself. Rodney Perry, what are you going to throw into the mix with this? It's going to be something off color, I'm pretty sure. So let me hear it.
Look, guys. I mean, we get excited about Joel Embiid every year. Joel Embiid. Oh, here he comes. Joel Embiid, MVP. Joel Embiid. What happened? Nothing. Joel Embiid. The first of all, he had this outbreak of points with James Harden out of the game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He had to. That was a void in point scoring. And so I like the guy. I think he's a great guy. He tried to holler at Brandy at one point. Brandy shot him down. This is the thing.
Huh?
Joel Embiid tried to holler at Brandy. That's a fact.
Wow.
And that's Ray J's sister.
Yeah.
And so I say this. If you can't smash Brandy, you can't win the championship.
I knew it was coming. I knew something was going to come.
My philosophy on the industry. Somebody listen to me.
Bro, talk to me. How are you looking at this situation right now with obviously with Joel Embiid scoring all he did, doing all the stuff he did in 36 minutes, bro? What's your take?
I mean, listen, every game in the NBA these days, somebody's breaking a record. You know, the records are always, the game is so lax. You know, I could go in there and break a record. I could probably go into the game. I could go into the game, hit 10 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists, almost have a triple-double. Anybody break a record. But Joel Embiid, he's always been doing his thing. I'm not impressed with his stuff during he's one of them, I'm not impressed during the regular season players anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get to the Eastern Conference. You got to get to the finals. Joel Embiid did not be impressed. But first, he got to get one, the OKC 3 off his team. We know the OKC 3. You know what I'm saying? Harden, Westbrook, and Durant. Everywhere they go, it's nothing but confusion. So until they get rid of one, the OKC 3, Joel Embiid is going to be right where he is. A regular game player that's really successful but can't make it to the championship.
Why am I thinking of that Eddie Murphy joke when he said, Stevie, you know, you about driving, you want to impress me, Stevie?
Take the wheel. That's right.
Take the wheel. Why am I thinking about that joke when he just said that? I don't know why I kept thinking about that. Oh, man. Speaking of not being impressed, Anthony Davis won game last night with the Lakers against the Brooklyn Nets. And KD and him were battling against each other. And I swear to you, it sounded like a lot of the Lakers fans were saying, and a lot of people saying outside of that, they wasn't impressed. But the Lakers won last night. They won. What's your take?
Right.
They won.
Well,
You know what I mean?
but the same thing we saying about Embiid. You need more of that. Like we haven't seen a consistent AD in God knows how long now, since the bubble. You know, we haven't seen a consistent play of him. So this was again a great isolated game for your personal accolades, but as a team, we have yet to see that Laker team look super cohesive. Best part of the game was the Russell Westbrook's dunk.
Yeah.
You know, off the like the drive and the lead, bang, took you back to OKC for a second. You know what I mean? But once that team can really click, I mean, together, because you know they played against the Nets, who are still finding their way as well. But once they get cohesive units out there on that floor for Lakers and start playing the contending teams, especially on the West Coast, and give me some consecutive wins, then I say, okay, you guys are in the running. Right now, they're still in disarray.
Okay, you still think they're still in disarray?
Yeah, they still got ways.
Hold on, I took Fig out by mistake. Hold on, let me bring it back in.
Okay. Sure, that was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Fig,
don't be disrespecting my homie.
Mike's on the roll today, bro. Fig,
boy, you see how them light skinned guys stick together
all day.
You think, honestly, in your opinion, Anthony Davis might be starting to put things back together and be able to help the Lakers? Because you know LeBron didn't play last night.
Anthony Davis is the NBA version of Humpty Dumpty. He sat on the wall, he had a great fall, and all the king horses and all the king's men could put Anthony Davis back together again. He played for 2 games and sit out for 3. He's injury prone, and that is the reputation of Anthony Davis ever since he left New Orleans. He just can't stay healthy. The only time he did stay healthy is like I believe Taylor said is when he was in the bubble, and that's it. And guess what? They played a team that was depleted of most of their players last night. They didn't have Kyrie. What's the name? Curry was on the bench. I mean, like they didn't have it was Kevin Durant and a bunch of bench players, and they making a big deal out of that. Let me see the Lakers beat a team at full strength. Let me see you beat a team like, how about the Clippers? You know, a team right there in your own building. Can you beat the Clippers? Can you beat Milwaukee, a team that's contending? Then I'll start to raise my eyebrows on the Lakers. But for right now,
All right, Mike Sean, what you think, bro?
Look, y'all gonna get mad at me. I don't give a damn about the Lakers. God bless them. Let me tell you something. What we're gonna do is bring up the Golden State Warriors being winless on the road. We need to bring them up. You want the Lakers to beat Milwaukee? How about Golden State? Can you beat Sacramento? Can you do that? Can you do that? Let's focus on the disaster that's going on in Golden State. And it's no coincidence that this team has been splintered and torn apart by what happened in that damn practice facility when Draymond acted up.
I didn't even know that, but thank you for
I'm just gonna say they are winless on the road. They haven't won a game.
I haven't even noticed that. Rodney Perry, I want to stay with the Lakers, even though Mike wants me to talk about that. I'm gonna come to that. That's a great topic for tomorrow. But I'm gonna talk to that, man. Rodney Perry, what's your take? You are a Lakers fan. Are you happy now? Are you seeing them be able to put it together, get this W against Brooklyn?
I mean, any game you win without the great LeBron James is a good game. You know what I mean? Because they rely on him for the lion's share of their points. So when you see these guys manage to put together a win, that's a good thing, man. If the Lakers can galvanize without LeBron James and then add that 30-some odd points per game, that spells the fact that Fig eyebrows be up all the damn time. So I like to see it. And big ups to Anthony Davis. Maybe he's on the mend. Maybe we should not always be he always stay hurt. Well, maybe he's getting better. For God's sake.
That's what you call a fan right there. Mo, I know you ain't a Lakers fan. Talk to me, bro. Are you thinking that the Lakers are coming back?
They beat the Brooklyn Nets. Really? This is a topic? Somebody beating the Brooklyn Nets? That's what I'm surprised that you even made this a topic. That somebody beat the
Is Kevin Durant not top 5 in the league?
No.
Everybody was bragging about the Brooklyn Nets. They was coming on. Everybody was bragging about the Nets. They were like, look.
Hey, didn't Rodney Perry just talk about watching 2 defensiveless teams is not a good game? So beating a defensiveless team is not a good win. The Nets don't play defense.
We don't
man.
care if it's good, it's a win.
Rodney, it's
Right,
not your turn. Rodney, it's not your turn.
You're right.
Bro, thank you.
See how I get, Rodney? See how I get? You just can't control it. You be like,
Before we leave, this has been obviously the big weekend for Black Panther. Me and Talent did a show on the weekend called Just a Couple of Guys. I want to ask you all, because I had an argument with a couple of my friends over the weekend. Did everybody here see Black Panther over the weekend?
Not me yet. I haven't seen
Wednesday.
it. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen it yet. I was going later on this week to see it.
Mike,
Mo don't give a damn about Black Panther.
Mike, you saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you like it?
It was good.
Okay.
It wasn't Black Panther. They have not recovered from Chadwick Boseman's tragic loss. They haven't recovered from it. They tried. I had a lot of people who went with me who really went hard on how they didn't like the movie. I just thought it was good. That's all.
Fig, you see it yet?
No, man, I'm forcing myself to go support.
Big is mad that the Black Panther wasn't a man.
Yeah. I really am, man. I'm really angry at that, man.
I'm with Fig.
They can't listen. You know how I be on my soapbox, Frank, man. I'm just saying this real quick. It seems they always either canceling or marginalizing.
The man is dead, Fig.
Canceling or marginalizing Black men in America, and I really don't like it.
Listen,
I'm gonna
say it like this: if it's not a porn, I can't have that many ovaries in my movie. Like it's just too much. I don't believe you. I don't believe you can do what you claim you can do. Like I just don't believe.
Tell everybody out there how they can follow you, T. Talk to you, T. I know you.
How can you put ovaries and porn together? That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
All right, tell it they have to be connected by fallopian tubes.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
First of all, I want to thank the whole the North Carolina Raleigh-Durham area coming out supporting the brother this past weekend was off the chain at Good Nights. Be back as soon as I can. Thank you. Anybody else, follow your boy Talent the Comedian on Instagram and It's Just Comedy on Twitter. And I'm all over Facebook. Pick a page.
Big.
Hey, that club got a facelift, right, Talent?
Yeah, they're in a whole temporary spot for the year because they're building a new building. But it don't look temporary at all.
Big,
oh, wow. I got that.
Listen,
I got that right before Christmas. Yeah.
I got a shout out to everybody that came out to the Manchester Funny Bone Saturday afternoon. Man, it was absolutely amazing. Had my first opportunity to headline on the Funny Bone. It was an amazing night, man. I just appreciate everybody that came out. You can follow me at Comedian Fig, all social media platforms.
Mike.
I just want to say one more thing about Black Panther 2. How in the hell do you turn the leader of Wakanda who passes away? How do you turn him into a baby father? Like, how do you turn him into a baby father at the end? You just realize that he left the kid. Yes, you should have seen it already. How you make it that he left the kid in Haiti?
Right,
like, what is going
Thanks
on?
for spoiling the movie for those who didn't see it. How do we follow you, Mike?
Don't follow me. And listen, if you a man, just send your daughters and your wives and your girlfriends to go see the movie.
Rodney Berry, how do you?
I headline all the time, and you can catch me at Joe Claire's show at Bowie, Maryland, November 19th, and then right after Thanksgiving, I'll be in Kentucky and then Detroit. Go to rodneyperry.com for all of
it. You're gonna love Bowie. You're gonna love it.
I heard it's crazy.
Thank you for sitting in today on a Monday with the Sit Your Ass Down segment. We'll see you again this Friday.
That was hot, Mo.
Thank you. You can follow me on all social media platforms, Mo_comic. Look, but before I say something, before I go, I just gotta say, Talent, sit your ass down. Because you said you all over Facebook. I friend requested you 3 years ago. You ain't that busy.
Well, it sound like you should sit your ass down. You requested me.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
3 years ago, Talent. You know I'm all over social.
I'm gonna accept your friend request right now.
He got like 3 pages. Talent the comedian, Talent the funny man, Talent Harris. I'm on all of them. You ain't sent me yet.
I tell you, do right now.
Who is his son?
Request me at NY King Talent right now. Right.
And all right, I'm gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Yo,
NY
box seats. We are on the channel, Humor Mill channel. We are on again tonight at 7, again at 11. We're on the app, the Humor Mill app. That's Rodney Perry. That is Fig. That's Talent. That's Mike. That's Mo. I'm still waiting to see if my man Dave can come in and talk about the Eagles, because the Eagles game is tonight. We'll probably see Dave tomorrow if the Eagles.
Yeah,
Please
man.
let them lose.
They gonna beat
Please
the
let them lose.
dog snot out of
They're
the
not gonna
Washington
lose.
Commanders.
We will be back
Please.
tomorrow. Thank you all for watching, man. Appreciate